Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. Um, a little bit warm. I was out doing some yard work a little bit yesterday and today, so I got a tiny bit overheated last night, but not so bad. I did some more this morning when it was cooler out, so I didn't um, strain myself that bad. So. But anyway, I just thought I'd get on here a little bit and tell you, yeah, I'm still alive for some of you, unfortunately, and for others of you, ta-da, yay, you know. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the little lawnmower we got. It wasn't the first one I got. That one didn't want to stay started, and it might have had something to do with maybe some kind of airflow or something. I don't know if it was the carburetor or the coil. It could have been either one. And that was a Craftsman with a Briggs motor. Well, and when Doug brought the second one home, because he did my running for me, um, got that for me, picked it up with his truck. He come back with the first one was red and the second one was yellow, and I'm thinking, and it's a John Deere, and I'm thinking, dang, it looks just like the one that I just had. Well, just then that lawnmower guy that we got it from is Zippy. He told Doug, just like washers and dryers and a lot of them other appliances, they're made in the same place, the motors and everything else. So, yeah, it was basically the same machine, only a different color and a different company that had made it. So, yeah, but I'm happy. I got all around where I have a fire pit and my picnic table and barbecuers out there, smoker, and um, pretty much around the house and out by our barbecue area. Got all that done, and Doug did some out in our front yard. We're gonna get a rider too. He's got one. He already put a down payment on it. So in a few weeks, but I just wanted this little one for trimming up around my bonfire and that type of thing, and around gardens, and instead of just weed whipping, it's not that big a deal right where I'm at to do a little bit of weeding, except this morning I need some new gloves. I had these ones on. One was a cotton like gardening glove with flowers on it, and another little kind of blue one. I had them mismatched, and grabbed some nettles. If any of you know what stinging nettles is, it, it came through my glove. I don't know if you can see that, but see oh yeah, I got all kinds of scars and marks on my hands. I literally split my hand wide open one time. This one too, actually. I got, like I've said, there is not 1 inch of my body that has not been brutalized or all scarred up, if not from something stupid I did, then from something malicious from somebody else, you know, real bad shit. So, yeah. Well, we're supposed to get some rain in here today about 3 o'clock, so I wanted to get out there, and it's 1 o'clock now, about 1:10. So yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, got the. I'm just happy I got it done last year. I didn't have a hand mower, and it was driving me crazy. I wanted to barbecue. I wanted to be out by my picnic table, but I couldn't because, like, some of the grass was like 2 and 3 feet tall, you know. So, and when I had my horse, that was cool because I could just let her out and she'd eat around everything. And I had even planted specialty grasses like Kentucky bluegrass and Kansas rye and some other ones around here. Um, so she had a balanced diet of different things that they actually need. Like you can't have too much clover in their grass or hay because it's too sweet. So I mean, all different. So my yard was a balanced diet for, well, is a balanced diet for a horse. So yeah, I miss her. Not just for that reason, but yeah, I really miss her. I'd go out and she, no, never failed. She'd be out there waiting for me and she'd bow to me when I came out. I'm like, wow. I mean, there's nothing more touching than somebody so big loving you so much and they smile and they bow when they see a wow, you know, like a curtsy, like, you know, or like running up and hugging your parent, whatever, you know, just showing her appreciation. She was beautiful. So my first horse wasn't much. Well, I did teach her how to um lay down so people could get on her. Same with my mom's horse. I taught that horse how to squat down. So, I mean, my adopted mom has like, I think her legs are like 26 inches long or something like a foot shorter than mine. She's like 5'5" or 5'6" and probably was always about, well, at least 200 pounds and just big around, you know, huge around, big woman, short in stature, sorta. Well, average height, period. No, she was a really very beautiful woman, but she didn't keep it, you know, whatever. I know people like middle age is hard too. Like when you're 40 and 50, that's a really hard time of life to get your body to balance itself out because you're working hard and you got all kinds of weird hours or you know or not, maybe not, maybe you were on a super good schedule and you were able to get rest. I don't know. I ooh, I wasn't one of them. Excuse me a minute here. Yeah, I had a really rough going into my middle age. You know, I feel better now than I did when I was like 40 or 50. Yeah, I really do. I didn't need to do my exercises last couple days. Oh, yeah, that first mower about killed me. The amount of time I spent trying to get it running, and I was about ready to start taking it apart. And Doug's like, no, we'll just see if he's got a different one. He'll make it right because he's a nice guy. I'm like, okay, okay, that's good because that's the last thing I wanted to do. I had to take mechanical things apart and try and decipher, like, is there some kind of something loose? Is there, you know, oh, geez, Doug's cat last night, when Doug came in, he had locked his kitty out on the porch and he wondered why his cat didn't come and say good night to him last night. Well, I thought he was scratching on his water bucket. I told you before he does that. And I heard it like I thought, geez, he's drinking a lot of water. Poor little thing was locked out on the porch. He wouldn't meow. He was just scratching on the door. And but I thought it sounded weird, like he was scratching on the window or something different about it. But I was half asleep, so I didn't really know, till this morning. Doug's like, "Have you seen Bob?" And my first thought, I'm like, "No," because he wasn't in my room. That's what Doug thought. And I went and looked, and there he was. Poor little thing. He's okay, but he just came in talking about it. So, yeah, he seems to be okay. And it wasn't like too hot or too cold out there for him. So he was okay. But yeah, just too bad. He knocked, he locked that feral cat I have, Nellie. He locked her out there only for a couple hours one time, but it was winter time and she was maybe about an hour and a half, but she was pretty pissed off at him. She wouldn't even talk to him for, took probably about a week and a half. She didn't forgive him. Yes, it's summertime. Summertime clothes. Not my go to town shopping clothes, but my hanging out around the house. It's hotter than hell out clothes. Oh, and you might hear my fan too. That's yeah, going. I I have to have it on right now. I'm feeling a little better, but when I first came in, I wasn't going to stay out quite as long as I did, but I ran out of gas. That's really the only reason I quit. I was going to do a little more around the kitty house and stuff, but just up around the house, I'm happy I got everything done. It was pretty long. I had to keep going over a couple spots, but yeah. So how are all my warriors doing out there? You you dealing with the riffraff on this planet? You know, those low vibing creatures that try to bring us down every so often. Yeah, the ones around me are super careful because I'm not in the mood to tolerate their bullshit anymore. I gave these creatures a time limit, and if that's infracted, they'll pay one way or another. I know people think, well, vengeance. No, it's not quite like that. It's like if you thought you got away with something and then all of a sudden I end up with some of your money or something that you have or whatever the case may be, we're going to make that shit equal. I enforce that fact. I'm not passive like people think I am. It's not even close to anything like that, you know? I mean, yeah, I have a combative nature, and I really rather enjoy that, but not entirely. I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty peaceful. So if that part of me comes out that I kind of enjoy, and it does weigh on my dignity, that pisses me off. If I get to that point where people keep pushing me, yeah, first I'm going to walk away. And typically I'm not going to really ever even say anything. Why bother, right? But if somebody's up in your face and continually pushing their trash on you, it's time to lay the verbal smackdown on their asses, you know? Really, don't tolerate. And then you hear these people, well, you don't have to get revenge. Well, maybe that's what I'm here for. Maybe that's not your job. Maybe I'm willing to take that on when somebody else isn't. If you feel the same way, I don't care. If you don't feel the same way, I don't care. I'm just telling you that there's consequences for stupid shit that people do, and I'm not beyond enforcing that. That's all I'm saying. It's not you. Step aside. That's, that's okay. It's not always me, but it can be. So, yeah, this might be a nice day for people to even go to the beach. I bet the water's just about swimmable. Usually, if we have a week of like 80 degrees, then when the water's like 60 something, it feels refreshing instead of, you know, there's some lakes down in the cities or some shallow lakes in the state too that warm up. Um, or like there's a beach in town um, on a small lake. It's just Pine City Beach Lake. Um, but it runs into rivers and other bigger um, lakes and that type of thing. But um, yeah, it's a nice little beach, nice little lake that warms up really quick. They've got they've got a dock, they've got a raft you can swim out to. Um, they've got showers and bathrooms and picnic area. They have handball courts now. They used to have a skate park. Um, Long time ago, they had horseshoes there for people. So it's kind of, we have actually, I think, one, two, three, three parks. One, two, three. Yeah, we have three parks in a tiny little city. We have one in the center of town with a gazebo, and we have like live music on Friday nights. We have open market, like farmers market, on I think Wednesdays. There's the flea market at the fairgrounds on Wednesdays too that the farmers go to, and a lot of people shop, there. So So as you can tell, I don't really have any topic in particular. I don't feel like yelling at anybody today. Um, well, I kind of do, but they're not you all. They're not here. Otherwise, I'd probably be yelling at them. Not with a loud voice with unheard decibels. Um, just sometimes when you apply your voice. See, I wait in a big crowd of noisy people till they've said all their stupid stuff, and then I wait till I have something pretty logical to say to everybody, and I speak clear, and they hear me. The whole room will hear me, and um, I have a tendency to make big crowds feel real stupid like that because if they're noisy, if they're stupid, you don't really have to raise your voice. Just apply it the right way. Wait, let them say what they're going to say. A lot of people will try and like over talk me. I've got like excellent points or something in there. So I just wait. Like I've had that happen if I know something about a vehicle that somebody has and it might not be running right or whatever it is, and I'll just wait. And then when they're all through with their shit, I'll tell them what it is. Doug's been there. He's seen that hundreds of times. He just laughs when I make a fool out of those men like that because, um, or he has interrupted them and said, "Did you just hear what she said?" you know? So I got to give him that. Yeah, he has. Because he doesn't like that either, you know. Especially if I'm making a point um, he would have made, but I made it, you know. and so why repeat what I already said just because they've got something I don't between my legs, you know? So we know I have something between my ears they don't have. We already know that, most people, okay? But I am rather a nerd. I mean, like, I got microscopes and telescopes, and I'm like deep into a lot of science, and yeah, you know, and that includes mechanical. I'm lucky I had adapted that in my life because my dad started teaching me when I was little how to change my own tire when I was 12, different things, so I wouldn't have to depend on a man, you know. And that's a good thing because they're not always dependable. And you don't always have the money to pay somebody to do something for you, you know. I'm not saying it always worked out well for me. I went through flipping hell. Like one time I dropped it was icy out, but I dropped my car on the frame. A bunch of, I don't know who, somebody I had bought the car from had some enemies, and I rented her house and bought her car. So after that, they were attacking my car thinking she still owned it. I actually went out and confronted these people. Not to be there's it doesn't have anything to do with heritage. It just has to do with the community I was in at that time happened to be mostly Hispanic, and I went out there and I'm like, look, I'm not her. I didn't do anything to you. Leave me alone. And they're like, whoa, okay, you know. Because I went through hell with that car. I had to pull my tires home in a wagon with two kids, you know, a set of four. Try that. Uphill, downhill, and it was probably a couple miles to the, it was, what they call it, like a auto yard, whatever, parts, you know. Oh, yeah. I've been through some really weird things anyway. But yeah, good thing I did have the strength and endurance. I mean, like some of you know the story. I pulled the motor out of my car to put a timing belt on it. When I went to put it back in, I could not get that second motor mount in there. I had it. I came in the house and I cried like a big baby. And it was probably 30 years ago. And went back out and I finally got it done. But when I went to set it down in there, you think, okay, one of the motor mounts, it was a little Omni, and there was two motor mounts, one on each side. And the one on the right went in, but the one on the left would not. I could not get it right. So I used like a pry bar, and I finally got a hardened steel um, bolt in there. But oh, geez, it was a struggle. Then you gotta use the timing light and adjust the belt. It's not like the chains, the old ones. It was a little different. You had to take the entire motor out. You couldn't just change like it used to be, go behind the fan belt and then you had the timing belt, you know. so you just had to take the uh, just a minute, the radiator, fan the radiator, and then you could get to your timing chain on it, if it broke or lost some teeth or whatever. So, but that one was hard. I don't know a lot of mechanics that cry, but I'm pretty much self-taught in a lot of areas like that. So is Doug. I mean, reading. Well, I did get like Popular Mechanics Junior when I was a kid. I'd get like a lot of different things I've been into and through in my life. That's just one of them. What's it like in your where you live? I just love summertime. I can't say it any more than that. Summer rocks. But I still wouldn't want to live in the southern United States because I would miss the lakes and the trees. And I do wish I lived further north up in the mountains by a lake, but I live in a valley with lots of hills with a creek and lots of lakes around, pretty close. But doesn't mean I can't do that. And I might still. Never know. I was thinking, and it's really rude, but there's one of my favorite places in the world in Minnesota up past Duluth, past two harbors, and it's on fire right now. Thousands of acres are burning up. It'd be a good time to snatch some property up there. Unfortunately, it is a scary thing to go through. I've had my house burnt. I just got through remodeling my house and I couldn't afford to rebuild it, and it burnt. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, we lived through it. Got my baby out of there. It was so pretty. And I had my garden and I had all kinds of vegetables growing. I had like rose bushes and irises and trees that I had planted, and I don't know. It was sad, and a lot of family heirlooms. So, like, I had some cherry wood furniture that was made in England that was from my great aunt that she gave me about, six different great big pieces of furniture, like a hutch and a sideboard. I had a china cabinet, a corner knickknack shelf, and a dresser, and one other thing. What was it? Maybe just another dresser. I know some really beautiful stuff anyway. So that's been a while ago. Yeah, my oldest son was not even, about a year old when that house burnt down. I had just built a deck out of the front of my house. Um, I had gotten them a little blow up canoe. We spent a lot of time in the water. I had my own dock, my own boat, um, like the life of Riley. Guess it wasn't meant for me, but I made my own living up there. I mean, I was happy. All I had to do, phone in electric and some heat, and I'd make enough for diapers and milk for the baby and I would catch these things called rock bass and fillet them out and sell them to a guy that owned the American Legion in a little town up north called Lake Park. And I lived on a lake called Cormorant Lake, Big Cormorant. There's three lakes that um, connect, and then there was one in back of my house. I couldn't see that one. It was Lake Sarah, but I could sit and look out my window every morning and watch a stork fishing she for frogs. She would show me every time she'd get a frog and she'd shake it and she'd look right at me. It's the craziest thing. I miss hearing the loons and different things up there. So it was so beautiful. Well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I just wanted to show you the whites of my eyes and let you know that I'm still alive and kicking, and I will be for probably quite some time. I'm a little more durable than people think I am. Yeah, doesn't mean it gives them an excuse to keep laying things on me, but that's okay too. It's not, it's not what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Not necessarily so. What doesn't kill you doesn't kill you, and it could leave a very bad injury that you have to work around. So, okay, everybody, peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.